Hello there and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be talking about, well, pretty much everything, because this week has been a very busy week for DJI, and they have released updates for a large number of their products, and there are two reasons for this really. Number one is we are heading for Chinese New Year, so they've got a lot of this stuff out of the way before they've headed off for 2 weeks. And number two, there's been a lot going on because obviously the Mavic Air has landed with people and everybody's been playing with them, and then we've had all of the updates for all of the other products around that. So in this video I want to talk to you about all of the updates because there's some little ones in there people may not have picked up on, and I'm also going to walk you through the update for the DJI Crystalsky monitor because there's a couple of really big ones on that, and there's a few things I want to talk about specifically. Okay, so let's get started. The first aircraft I'm going to talk about is the DJI Mavic Air. Now, as you can see, I do have one here. Now, I am going to be talking a lot more about this in another video, but that is not going to be today. In this video, I'm purely going to talk about the updates. Now, it is quite a big update for the Mavic Air. It's version 01.00.0200, and it adds a whole host of tweaks and improvements. There are two specifically that I wanted to talk about. Number one is they've added support for smart capture without a remote controller. Now, what that means is when you first got the Mavic Air out of the box, you could use the smart capture features, so using your palm to control it, but you had to have either the phone connected via Wi-Fi or the controller connected. They've now added it so you can do it without that, so you can control it with no controller at all. I am not going to go into how much of a good idea I personally think that is, but that is now available. Secondly, they have improved the transmission quality in 2.4. What I will say is overall the Mavic Air uses enhanced Wi-Fi and the reports are very good. I have flown this a little bit myself as well. I've probably put 10 flights through it, and I am more than happy with the performance, but I will talk about that again in another video. There is a whole host of other stuff, but the next and final big one is they have added support for using DJI goggles head tracking feature. So head tracking now works on the DJI Mavic Air when used with the DJI goggles. That leads me on to an update for the Mavic Pro and DJI goggles, because the Mavic Pro and the goggles, and when I say goggles I am talking about the white DJI goggles, not the race edition. A minute, I'll come back to them, but they basically use the same firmware package. So at the same time, DJI have pushed an update version 1.04.0300 for the Mavic Pro, and it says it fixes an issue that prevented JPEG plus RAW formats photos, I should say, from being downloaded. I've not seen that one posted about myself, but they've fixed it anyway. This update also includes firmware update for the DJI goggles, and they have added support for the Mavic Air, including head tracking, and basically it adds support for the shooting and viewing pano photos as well. Now, they've tweaked the settings for using the Mavic Air with the goggles. Now, it's worth stating, if you want to use the DJI goggles with the Mavic Air, it has to be via the USB cable. They do not support OcuSync on the Mavic Air. It's enhanced Wi-Fi, therefore to use the goggles it is using the USB cable. However, I've done it and the performance is very good. I don't really miss not having the wireless. There's one or two little things which I'll talk about in a different video, but it's nothing major. But the white goggles do now have support for the Mavic Air, and you can see all of the camera settings and all of those things. That leads me on to the next one, which is the update for the DJI Goggles Race Edition, and it also includes an update for the Air system, which I'm currently testing on my Phantom. Sorry, that's not a Phantom, it's an F450. And what they have done is they have added support for the Mavic Air, first of all. So originally when the Mavic Air launched, they would work with the white goggles, but it would not work with the Race Edition. You had telemetry but not video. Now they fully support the Mavic Air, and you've got support for 180-degree panoramas, optimized on-screen display, and all of the usual features. Additionally, they have changed some things on the on the OcuSync Air system, and that is that they have optimized the on-screen display information. They have added current viewing. So whereas originally on the OSD, you only had voltage from the telemetry input. You now have voltage and current. Now, I haven't tested this myself yet. I'm going to be playing with that further this week. Hopefully, it's one step forward. Hopefully, they'll be adding some more in the near future. And they are expecting to still support Mavlink very, very soon. And that is a big one. And I think at the same time we see Mavlink support, we'll see a whole host of other features come to the Goggles Race Edition as well. They've also fixed some rear issues with videos not being saved to the SD card, and fixed an issue with video saved to the SD card could not be split. Unit would be split into multiple files. I had that myself, and they fixed that now as well. So what they mean is the videos will be in longer segments, not smaller ones. I was finding that they're recording, I think it was in either 15 or 30 second intervals. I said it in my original video, but now they've changed it so it's going to be a little bit longer. Next, they have released updates for the DJI Go apps, and I want to talk about that before I talk about the Crystalsky. They've released an update for DJI Go that resolves the issue if you were using a Phantom 3, Phantom 4 or Inspire 1 remote with the latest version of iOS. There was a problem, whereas if you had the latest version of iOS and you had one of those remote controllers, so the GL300 or the 6 series for the Inspire with the HDMI board fitted, the controller wouldn't work properly and the app would completely crash. This version of DJI Go4 resolves that issue on the Phantom 4 series, and they've already resolved it on all of the others. So if you are having an issue where you have your Phantom 3, Phantom 4, Inspire 1 with the latest version of iOS on your smart device, and if the app's crashing, make sure you're on the latest app, and that should resolve those issues. Over to the Crystalsky, because here there has been quite a few updates. There has been a main update to the Crystalsky system which brings the app versions up to date. That means Crystalsky now supports the DJI Mavic Air. So that's the first big one. That comes to both the 7.85 and the 5.5 inch as well. A day before, DJI also released an update for the Pilot app, and that is included in this update as well, but they also released it separately, and that is the Pilot app version 0.51. Now, I'm going to read you a few of the updates on this because they haven't actually put out the release notes yet. They've released the firmware, but there's nothing I can print off to talk about. So they have added master and slave remote controller function to the Pilot app. If you don't know what the Pilot app is, I should say that first. It is a really big cutback version of the DJI Go app, specifically designed mostly for professional users. It has no aircraft logs, and it has basic, absolutely what you need functionality, and DJI have been building up on this a little bit more and more as time's gone on. So as I said, they've added master and slave remote controller functionality, GPS coordinates display and format settings, so it will show you where your aircraft is in GPS numbers. They've added obstacle avoidance radar interface, so that you now get the radar for obstacle avoidance. They've added support for activating the aircraft. The app was that cut back, you couldn't actually activate the aircraft in the Pilot app. You had to activate it in Go4 for the very first time, and you only had to do that when you first bought it new, and then you could use the Pilot app. But they've now added support for that officially. They've added official support for the Phantom series, the M600 series and the Inspire 2. Now, the Go app was originally, the Pilot app was originally released for the M200 series, and whilst it did work with those other models, it wasn't 100%. It now has official support, so you can use it with, again, the Phantom series, M600 series and the Inspire 2. It's added support for the extended I/O option to customize extended I/O ports on the M200 series. So that is the I/O ports, you can now support them through the SDK. Flipping over to the next one, they've added Zenmuse X4 and X5 camera histogram displays. So they've added the histogram for those cameras. They've added the option for DJI Flight Tub to quit team. That is something I'm going to do in a specific video. Again, the DJI Flight Hub software is something a little bit different. They've optimized abnormal information display, whatever that means. optimized interactive UI features and improved stability. So the Pilot app has taken quite a big step forward towards being exactly what professional users and users who are looking for an app that is really basic, really cut back, and absolutely does exactly what you want it to do, and they've made a real big steps towards that. Back onto the Crystalsky update itself. So what I'm going to do now is just talk about what the updates are on here. I'm going to zoom in, take a look a bit closer, and we'll walk through that. Okay, so we're going to take a look now at updating the firmware on the Crystalsky monitor. Now, if you haven't done this before, you simply go into Settings, scroll down to the bottom and click Update. And first of all, make sure you are on Wi-Fi. You can see I'm currently on version 02040600. We will click Check for Updates, and it will then check the server and see if there is one. So we'll just wait to see what it does, and it should now in a second go pop. There it is, version 02.05 all zeros is now available. Now in this version they have added compatibility for the DJI Mavic Air and the following features specifically for that aircraft. They've added APAS, Active Track now supports and identifies multiple subjects. They've added Boomerang and Asteroid. They have added Gestures mode, Enhanced Pano, and all of the same things that you get on the latest Go app, because in this update it puts the latest version of DJI Go, DJI Go4 and the Pilot app on your Crystalsky device. They have also added panorama mode for the Phantom 4 Pro. Now this update has also landed on the guys with the DJI Phantom 4 Advanced and Pro Plus models. So they have also had an update for their built-in monitors, which are a derivative of Crystalsky. They have had the same update, which allows them to add panorama mode on that as well. And they have fixed an issue that caused fan to behave abnormally in certain situations. Now, some people have reported that they've had overheat warnings and things like that, and it's believed that this update should hopefully resolve it. So to do the update, you would simply click download. Now what that will now do is take you to the download page, and it will ask you, do you wish to download? And we click the download button. Now this will download the firmware directly onto the Crystalsky device, and then it will make sure that it's the correct firmware, and then it'll give you the option to install it. Okay, so once the download is completed, it sits there waiting for you to click the update button. So we're going to hit that, and it will now begin to reboot the device and install the firmware onto the Crystalsky monitor. Now this can take about anything between sort of 4 and 5 and 10 minutes, something like that. It's varied on each one I've done. If I recall, I've actually done my 5.5 inch already, but if I recall, this one took about 5 to 6 minutes when I did it last time. And what it does do is update the entire Crystalsky system image. So it's not just updating the Go apps, it's updating the entire Crystalsky system image. Okay, so Crystalsky has now finished updating and has come back to the home screen. Now, I am going to say, if you get any problems with your Crystalsky after updating, I would strongly suggest doing a full factory reset. The reason for this is Crystalsky, when it updates the existing system, so you don't lose data. However, it does mean it's like updating Windows in a way, really, and there can be some hang-ups that are left from before. So if you get any strange behaviour, do a full factory reset, and in my experience that tends to clear everything down. Whilst it will mean you will lose all your data, it should resolve any issues. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is the radar, because I've been testing this on my 5.5 inch one for a few days, and I have noticed that the radar that you get in the bottom corner of DJI Go is now behaving a lot better. Now, a lot of people had complained in the past this radar just didn't work properly. Now, that wasn't the case for me. I didn't get too many problems with it. However, some people were getting it jumping round. My testing and reports back from people are showing that this radar is working a lot better in this new version of DJI Go4 and the update for Crystalsky. So please let me know how you're getting on with it. The other point I wanted to make as well is DJI have moved over to using Mapbox for their maps. So whilst before they have been using a different provider, they have now moved over to using Mapbox. What that means is the offline map mode is not currently available in this version of Crystalsky firmware. I did another video where it wasn't working properly and said if you turn it on and off a few times it would appear. That will no longer work in this update. However, it is coming back very, very soon. It's just they didn't get enough time to get it in on this version before heading out the door for the Chinese New Year. Other than that, that is it for this video. I just want to thank everybody who watches the channel. A couple of weeks ago, we hit 4,000 subscribers, and that is something well beyond anything I imagined we'd ever achieve. I'm going to be doing a number of videos very, very soon for the new Mavic Air. However, I want to take my time a little bit. I'm not going to rush them out. I am going to do a review. I don't want to be the first to do it, but I want to try and offer something that maybe some of the others haven't in the way I usually do these things. Thank you very, very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not, and I'll do another video again soon.